Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
All righty. I'm sorry you didn't get your burrito this morning, Brennan, because Gary always goes by All-American and gets burritos for he and himself. He would get one for me, but I don't want.
I asked Craig when he walked in. I said, "I don't suppose you have a All-American Eatery burrito with you right now."
Where's my burrito?
Yep.
But anyway, they had absolutely delicious food. Tahoka Highway, and about 85th or 86th Street. If you're coming from Lubbock, you got to go out to 98th and swing underneath, and it'll be down there on your right. But you'll be glad you went out there, because Abel and Jennifer, the owners of that great establishment, do a fantastic job. And they've got these homemade pies, because Jennifer I said, "Do you make all these pies?" She goes, "Yes." I go, "My gosh, that's a lot to do." But they just do it the right way. And delicious food out at All-American Eatery. And you'll like the atmosphere there, too. Senior Benefit Solutions in Lubbock, Texas. This is Laurie Kasler. And she is the expert on Medicare. And it's hard to be an expert on Medicare because they keep changing the rules. But she's right on top of it. She can help you. And most everybody I know that's my age has questions about Medicare and how that works. But anyway, Laurie Kasler has those answers. It's Senior Benefit Solutions is the name of the company. They're out on 85th Street, just west of University Avenue. She has an office there, and she'd love to visit with you. It doesn't cost anything. Just go see Laurie Kasler and let her help you with all of your needs. I can give you her telephone number. Probably be good if I did that.
I will tell you that even if you have Medicare and you've got questions,
yes, well,
and you've had it, and like you said, there's changes every year, and so many people, David, had insurance through their company, and then they retire, and then they get on Medicare, and they don't know if they should do this or that. That's a one-stop shop right there.
She take care of all of it, and you can't believe I've had 2 or 3 people call me and say, "Give me that lady's name," because and they got questions. They've already got Medicare, but they don't know what to do. Here's her phone number at work: 806-781-3904. 781-3904. They're at 2513 86th Street. 2513 86th Street. Senior Benefit Solutions, Laurie Kasler, and you can call her now. I know that window deal's open and closed and blah blah blah. You want to talk to her about Medicare? She'll help you. All right. One other person I want to give a shout-out to, and that's Krista Gerlich and the Texas Tech Lady Raiders. They are simply playing great basketball. She's done a fantastic job, and her assistant coaches with this team. We are good. We're 24-4. We're 11-4 in the Big 12. We just manhandled the Baylor Lady Bears.
Number 15 team in the country.
Yeah, they're ranked ahead of us, and we beat them twice.
Yeah.
And we beat the dog out of them this last time. We beat them 87-56. Craig, I don't know if you're very good at math, but that's 31 points.
Yep. And if you watch them play, they're playing with a lot of joy. They're playing hard. They're together. Everybody seems to know their role and helps each other. And I'm telling you, Dave, defensively, they're as good as anybody right now. In that, there's teams out there that the South Carolinas and so forth that have a lot of great athletes. But I'm going to tell you something. We're good. We're a good basketball team.
Today we play at Colorado at 8:00 tonight. And you can get that on, of course, the Texas Tech Sports Network. It'll be on, is it on 93.7?
Yes, sir.
93.7, The Eagle. You can listen to it. It's also on ESPN Plus tonight. You'll be able to watch them. And they're at Colorado, and then they finish up with at Kansas. And then their final home game is on March the 1st against Arizona State here. And so it's winding down, about to get to the Big 12 tournament.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm so proud of Kristen, what she's been able to do and to putting this together.
She has, and put it together is a great phrase because she has, she's added a little piece here and a little piece there, and she found through the portal a couple of players, and she's recruited a lot of them and had a lot of them. Bailey Maupin has been here. This is her 4th year.
She's awesome.
And you just don't see that very much anymore. No. And I tell you, they've matured as players and as ladies, and it's proven itself out on the court right now.
Well, people ask me about Ambrosia Cole at Monterey. Is she really that good? She's averaging over 30 points a game, and she is absolutely a magician with the ball. And I will tell you, she could help the Lady Raiders today. That's how good she is. In fact, she could start for the Lady Raiders today because she's that talented of a player, and she'll be at Tech next year.
And and she's going to play a lot of point, and Hema Nunez and Sydney Love, they're both going to be, to the point ready to hand it over, and that.
We got a lot of seniors on this team.
Yeah, yeah, and that helps. I mean, when you're an older team like that helps, especially down when it comes to postseason.
But we've got some really good recruits coming.
Yes,
and
we do.
I talked to Krista the other day, and she is so excited about where the program is and where they're headed. And y'all support those Lady Raiders and y'all have done a really good job. I think we've had some really nice crowds at some of the last games. All right, Robert Giovanetti is here. He's the main reason we have anything going on at Tech. Is that right, Robert?
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering why you guys had to do the spot about the senior benefits before you had me on.
Do you have yours yet?
I'm getting closer every day.
Well, Craig and I both have ours.
Hey, Robert, let's be real careful when you use those two words together, seniors and benefits, because there's not a whole lot of them.
But Laurie Kessler is one. She can help you.
All right. Yeah, I was writing her name down just to have.
You probably ought to get started because you're not.
Of course, Robert's only 35 years old, but doing all he's done, he may feel like he's 65.
Yeah, it ages you for sure.
All right, Gio, thank you for being on today, and I'm glad we're just doing it on the phone. There was no really need for you to, although we love for you to come to the studio. We do. I mean, we just have fun when you come in here, but we'll have fun on the phone.
We all leave smarter after you've been here.
Yep. And don't let me forget. Text me the name of the guy that for tickets to the TCU game, or you just call anybody. Does it matter?
You talking about for basketball? Yeah, basketball.
Boys, men's basketball.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, send me a name because I got 3 buddies coming in. Really, one buddy, and he's got 2 friends, and they want to go to the TCU game. And you just call. This guy may be able to help them get a little better tickets or something. I don't know. If you got a good name.
Yeah, I got a good name for you.
And I know you do because you know everybody. Everything's going on in Tech athletics.
They pretty much work for Robert.
Yeah. Do you ever look at somebody and go, "Who's that guy?"
Yes, we do. We have, we meet once a month and as a whole staff, and sometimes I don't know who 5 or 10 of these people are. So, there's just a lot of people.
Robert, when you started, how many did you have in your department that you were looking over?
It was. I'm trying to think back. We had. The numbers are kind of strange because we were about the same I am now, but we lost during COVID. We had to reduction in force 9 full-time people, and so we end up getting them back. Over the years, we've gotten them back, so it's about the same. It's about 42, I think, or 40, or somewhere in the 40 to 42 number.
Yeah, that's a bunch. There's just a lot going on at Tech, and now we're going to find a new name for the stadium. I was talking to Craig, because he was back at Tech when Coach Myers and they worked to get AT&T the name on the stadium along with Jones Stadium, but they're not going to continue. And
no, I actually used Craig's name the other day. We were talking about this whole deal, and I said, I bet Craig Wells was right in the middle of all that when that happened.
Yeah, there was a guy out of Chicago. Robert, and you'll appreciate this. His name was Jim Beligowski, and he was the point man for. I mean, it was all done. They had said yes, and all the money was going to exchange hands at this time and that time. But we were working out the details about what they got with the naming rights. I mean, we started off. I thought it was going to be AT&T University for a while, but they were really great to work with, and they were extremely happy to be a part of Texas Tech.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they've still been really good to work with. They'll come out every so often and check all their assets they have, just to make. They're real particular about making sure.
Yes, they are.
Their logo is used correctly, and and they'll even. They don't do this nearly as much, but they'll read stories online or whatever, and they'll call us and say, "Hey, so and so didn't call it Jones AT&T Stadium; they call it Jones State." So they squeeze their money out of it. But we knew that this was coming up, that the expiration was coming up. It's funny. It got some attention recently because Don Williams wrote about it. But I would say, it's something we've been working on and talking about for a couple of years, and they've been pretty upfront about it's not something they felt like they wanted to continue to do, not just here, but just a kind of a national decision. They're looking at some of their properties, but they still want to keep a relationship with Texas Tech, and however that looks as a corporate partner and a official telecoms partner type thing. So, we're still going to keep AT&T around in some form or fashion, just won't be on the name of the stadium.
Well, this stadium, Clifford Beak, for me and us, we're kids, it was always Jones Stadium. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you this, Gio, I always say Jones AT&T Stadium because I know that's important, and they're giving millions of dollars. Was it like $20 million?
Yeah, I think it might even been a little bit more than that. I'd have to look and see. And, that's the other thing is they paid that, I believe, and Craig, you can probably say this, they paid most of that up front.
Yes, they did.
So
see, it's just, let me go ahead and get this now.
Well, and the west side of the stadium was being enhanced, and the east side too, and that's the reason they wanted, and we wanted, we asked if they would pay it up front, and they did, and it helped tremendously to get the west and east sides done.
My gosh, wish you had that kind of money to pay it up front.
Yeah, there's a few people that do, but I'm not one of those.
Yeah. Robert, when you guys, like you said, and you started a couple years ago and thinking about, this is coming, and doing the planning that you do, what do you guys look for, you think, in a naming rights partner? What is there any particular thing that you're saying, hey, we've at least got to have this or that or whatever?
No, I think we haven't really said that. We look for just natural partners and partners that we feel like would kind of reflect what Texas Tech is about. And I'm not part of the conversations with the sponsors. They'll update me on them. I'm not in the room when they do those, but I do. Some of the groups I've heard that we've talked with have been ones that I think people would be proud and excited to have named on the stadium. Kirby's because they did pay it up front. It's not like we're losing a revenue stream right now, and so it does allow our group to be a little more deliberate and really be thorough as you go through things, and Kirby Hoka does not do anything that's not thorough and not kind of well thought out. And so I think they're just, keeping all our options open. We spoke in Midland last week, and I set up on the stage in Midland. There's a lot of guys out there with big wallets. I said, hey, love to have one of your names on the stadium, right? If you're interested in this, let us know. And so I think that it wouldn't be. I try to think of a name that would be. I don't say anything or offend anybody. It's not going to be some kind of silly name or something like that. It's just going to be. I think it'll be something people will be happy about.
All right. Well, you're not going to name it the Gorilla or anything like that, are you?
Well, I mean, he's been a great partner. We'd probably ask him to use his real name rather than the Gorilla if we're going to put the name on it. But Davis has been a fantastic corporate partner for a long time.
Yeah.
Robert, one of the things that when you get that name, what your creative department, your marketing department, and what your, people that are in charge of those kind of things, what they've got in store for them is going to be fun. I mean, they're going to look at it as a challenge, and it's going to be fun for them to break out a new name once it's achieved.
It's funny. I've thrown out a couple to them that we've talked about, and some they're going, like they don't really love the name. Some they're going, yeah, man, that would be fun to work with that. So you're right. It's going to provide some great branding opportunities. It's going to provide some exciting things for our guys to do, and we're going to have to really do it up right, because whoever is going to do it is going to make a significant investment, and we want that to be reflected in how we present them. We also want our fans to be excited about it, and we want to make a splash too, right? We want people nationally. No one is talking about Texas Tech more than they ever have before. This is our brand's never been stronger, and so we really want to keep capitalizing on that and keep the wave going.
Well, I was thinking about Thetford and Ashby Stadium, but I think people couldn't really get behind that. But TNA Stadium, they could get behind that, and y'all could do a lot of fun things with that.
Yeah, we might have people showing up for the wrong reasons.
Hey, can you hang on? Can you hang on through the break?
Sure. Yes.
We'll just keep you one more little segment here, but I got a couple of questions about Bill Snyder Family Stadium, Kansas State, Lavelle Edwards Stadium, BYU. I know they didn't give millions to have their name on the stadium. How does that deal work? Because I'm thinking Spike Dock Stadium. Some people would say Mike Leach Stadium.
Well, I will tell you, Bill Snyder needs to have more than a name. He revived Kansas State football.
He brought it back. So, Donnie Anderson Stadium, E.J. Holub. Anyway, we'll talk about some more with Robert Giovanetti when we come back on Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby and Craig Wells.
Sports Talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Big shout out to J&W Services, Lenco Distributors in Midland, Texas. An amazing company. There's more names to the company than that, but those are the main names. And the reason is they can do so many things.
Yeah.
And you're in the oil and gas business. I would say you need Brent Beck, Scott Blakely, and these companies on your team, because you just need that person you can call and say, hey, we need this part and we can't find it. Well, they can find it for you. Here's the other part, or they can make it for you. It's an amazing company, J&W Services, Lenco Distributors, big tech supporters. These are tech guys, and they love the Red Raiders, but they'll help everybody because they're in business. Even if you're not a Red Raider, they'll help you too. The other thing is Mighty Wash right here in Lubbock, Texas. It's out of Lubbock, Texas. This is its home office. I think they employ over 400 people here in the Permian Basin and building new washes. They call them auto baths everywhere. There's several locations around Lubbock. But Mighty Wash, big supporter of the Red Raiders and our show, and in the Permian Basin, eastern New Mexico. That's the name you ought to know, and that's the place you ought to go, to Mighty Wash. They will do you a great job, and you can get it hand-dried there if you want to.
Even when it's about 35 outside, those little dryers are out there working, boy. I'm telling you. I'm happy for them.
They're after it. They do a great job at Mighty Wash. All right, Robert Giovanetti is on the phone with us. And, Gio, I asked you about Bill Snyder Family Stadium, Lavelle Edwards Stadium, that's the BYU stadium. How does that work? If it's named after a former coach or player, does somebody give the money to do that?
Yeah, I think that's happened in the past. Even here that's happened, I think, in a couple of situations. But if you go back, I think I've talked to the Kansas State guys before. I don't know about Lavelle Edwards, but in the early 2000s, when I think the first time Coach Snyder retired, they named it after him, and his family is kind of a thank you. I don't believe any money exchanged hands there. I might be wrong. I don't know, but you got to think of how much the world has changed in those 20 years.
Yes,
and that revenue for all of us is becoming such an issue, and with the change in rev share and NIL, that those days of just giving somebody a name are probably long gone. The other thing I would imagine that the investment it would take to name the stadium, most places are going to want to have their name on it rather than bestow that on somebody
You'd
else.
have to really like the coach.
Yeah.
yeah.
They really have a lot of money.
And I think even if they did, they'd have to say something like they'd want it like Spike Dyke Stadium presented by Thetford and Ashby.
Yeah.
Right?
You'd do that.
Yeah. Well, come on, write the check.
How much? All right, now tell everybody, because I know there's a lot of people out there just going, well, tell me how much. What does it take, and how many years do you have to pay it, and all those kinds of things?
Well, and it's one of those things, and Craig knows this because he just kind of referenced it last the last section of the show. It depends, right? What do you want? What kind of marketing assets do you want to have? Do you when you look at AT&T, they have signage all around the stadium. They have signage on our press conference, behind the coaches during the backdrop in the press conference. How much in-game do you want recognition? So there's all sorts of things that reflect the difference in the price. And so it's one of those situations where it is not cheap. Like I wouldn't say some local mom and pop shop could afford it. It's got to obviously be somebody with a little deeper pockets, but it just
What's
all depends on what you want to be part of.
What's the full meal deal? You want the full meal deal? How much is that? $25 million?
Again, the years. I mean, how many years it is, and there's a lot that would go into the mix.
Robert, I can't believe there's not a better time in the history of Texas Tech for somebody to attach to that double T, and monetarily and marketing wise and so forth. And you guys have statistics and you subscribe to things. Just how much has the recognition and the power of the Double T brand grown just within the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's been substantial, and we're the number one rated program in the league, viewing wise nationally, in football and basketball. Basketball right up there in the top two. There's just the value of what we're doing has increased substantially. Kirby told us a story the other day about when he was at the Big 12 meetings, and the Big 12 obviously hires outside consultants to come in and build the brand of the league, and the outside consultants talked about Texas Tech and how much Texas Tech has become something that you want to really build around what Texas Tech is doing. We've just become the face of the changes in college athletics, and I think the success that we're having in so many sports is reflective of that. And I think that you just have to have that catch, so to speak. There's a lot of good programs out there that just don't really. Even Indiana, I look at Indiana, and it's almost like they never really caught fire. They won the national championship, and that's what you want to do. But not a lot of people really talk about Indiana. They talk a little bit about them. Yeah. But people are talking about Texas Tech, and we've seen it happen a couple times the last couple of years. Fox Big Noon came out here last year, and an ESPN Game Day came out here twice this year, once for football, once for basketball. And it's not just talk. They're blown away by what they see, the facilities, the people, the way the community embraces the programs, and those things matter, right? They go back to New York City or Los Angeles or Chicago, wherever they're from, and they talk about it. And others in that realm say, well, I want to see what's going on there. And it's just really been pretty magical. And people are finding out, we've all known all along, this is a special place. This community and really embraces this program, and it's all seems to be kind of converging at the same time.
It's a lot of fun. It's just kind of fun to come up with names. Of course, it's always, and I assume that Jones Stadium will remain. Is that the case, or maybe not?
I think maybe not. I think it would just be again up in the negotiations of how that works. And so I'm like you. When I moved here, it was actually called Clifford B. Jones and Audrey.
That's
her
her
name was in it too, Clifford and Audrey Jones Stadium. And so I know that's been something that's very important. And I know that the Jones, Clifford Jones particularly, is a big part of the reason the stadium got built. And I think they made a donation at the time of $100,000 that now would be $1 million, whatever in today's value. Which
was a lot then. It was a lot
that they put, for sure. So I think we will never not respect the Jones family and what they did, and so we'll figure something out. But again, I think the first part, you got to get to the negotiating table and sit down, and those are all things that I'm sure would be discussed.
Robert, I know you talked about the revenue being very important and high in priority right now. Is trying to get a bunch of money as quick as you can.
How much is enough, Gio?
I don't think there's an answer to that.
LSU and some in the SEC now have established that they are going to put patches on jerseys and so forth. Has the Big 12 or Tech or anybody mentioned that, what they're going to do?
Yeah, you'll see that with us next year. I believe there'll be a corporate partner on the jerseys. You'll see at a lot of these venues, besides just the name on the stadium, you'll probably see logos on the field as well. And so I think all those opportunities are being explored. But for sure, we are looking at asking for out there working the streets to monetize that as well, as far as jersey patches.
Yep. I knew that some teams there was an energy company, I think, that did LSU's, and I think that it's a great revenue stream. It's good for the partner, and revenue is real important right now for everybody.
We'll start looking like a race car driver.
I don't think they'll get that far.
I don't either, but I think you're starting to see kind of this delineation of who's going to play the game and who's not. And if you want to succeed and you want to compete at the highest level, if we want the Big 12 and Texas Tech to be part of whatever the next iteration of college athletics is going to look like, there's going to be a large line of demarcation of who's playing at the big boy level and who's not. Then you're going to have to do those things, right? And there's going to be a lot of gnashing of teeth, and I hear it everywhere. Like, I just want to go back to the old days. I want to go back to, and it's just not going to happen, right? Those things are not going to happen, and college athletics has changed forever. It won't go back. And so do we want to, when you think of what Texas Tech and Texas Tech athletics means to the, Cody talks about, Regent Campbell, when he talks about just since we've really started seeing the spike in success, the surge in number of applicants we've had to the university, it's been exponential that how much that's grown. What it means to this community when there's a big game here on a Saturday in the fall, or when there's a big basketball game, the revenue and the impact goes beyond just Texas Tech and the guys on the field or the athletic program. It's felt throughout this community, and if you're in the Big West and playing kind of the lower level, and you're not getting the television dollars and everything else, it'll be felt by more than just Tech. And so that's why I think it's important to keep it going. And so all of us, myself included, just have to get used to it's different now. The things are different, and these student athletes are going to get paid. There's going to be logos where you don't normally see logos. It's just where we are now.
I would like, to me, I love the name Double Eagle, and what Cody and Campbell and John Sellers have already done is just through the roof. And I don't know if they're even considering this, but I do like that name, Double Eagle Stadium, although it doesn't have a Red Raider in it. But
yeah, and I think Cody and John have done so much.
Oh my gosh!
It's you can't even you can't even explain to people how great they've been, and you really can't even. And this is what happens when you start talking, you leave people out. But Dusty Womble, Gary Peterson.
Oh yeah,
Jim
Womble.
Powell.
Of course, Womble's got his name on a lot of stuff already, but Dusty has been, and there's others.
And you brought up a name, Gary Peterson, that has been doing this for quite a few years.
He's kind of been behind the scenes, it seems like.
Yeah, and and Jim Sowell's another one right there.
Yeah.
And we had a Hall of Fame dinner this year, and Jim Sowell came, and I'd never even laid eyes on Jim Sowell after all the times I'd heard about him, and so Andrea Tyree had asked me to recognize him at the event, and he was not happy about it. Right, he did not want to be recognized, and but I'm just saying there's so many people that have just made such an impact. But with Cody and John, you could almost make the argument that Cody has actually done this for us. That hey, look, I'm going to give the money, right? I'm going to keep supporting. Is there somebody else out there that would be new dollars or a new revenue stream for you to look at? And the thing about Cody and John, they're not going to let us fall behind. They're not going to let us lag. And so they're there for us all the time. And so, you're great. We've got Double Eagle signage on the stadium right now.
Yep.
We talk all the time about what we can do for Double Eagle. And so those guys, you can't even – there's not enough hours in the day to say enough about what Cody and John have done.
And same for Womble. I mean, his name's on the football facility and the basketball facility. And Dusty is just a great Red Raider. He really is.
And Dusty's just a real guy too. He comes to the games. He's fired up at the games. He again, Dusty does a lot of things too that people don't see. That the names are easy to see, but he's always one to reach out to me and my team about, do you guys need help in this or that? He wants to help. He wants to. I don't think you get that everywhere. I don't think you get a Dusty Womble at a lot of places. Well, it's so beneficial to us.
This shows you who Dusty Womble is. They're in New York, Tech's playing up there against Duke or whoever we're playing. And he's going to be on the show that morning. He goes outside and sets up his camera and has a scene of the New York skyline behind him on his Zoom to be on our show. He's just first class.
David, one of the greatest things the money is terrific. And Robert is exactly correct as usual. They have participated. They've gotten down in the weeds and helped. But those guys didn't create their wealth by being lucky. They are very smart individuals, and the knowledge that they bring to the table, and you combine that with Kirby's knowledge, and we have some things right now because of those guys sitting down at a table and giving us the direction and the wherewithal to do what we're doing. And to be able to pick their brains is just immeasurable.
Gio saw him sitting in there talking, didn't you, Gio?
Yeah, I looked through the window.
Hey,
sometimes let me bring the snacks in.
When you think about who we got Lawrence Skubinik, who may be the best president in the university history. I love this guy. And we got Kirby Hocutt, who's the finest athletic director, I think.
And we got Robert Giovanetti.
I mean, what a team.
That's a great team. Those three guys together.
Hey, buddy, we appreciate you being on. You're always great, and you're always so kind to be on, and we appreciate it. Doing everything.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully see everybody at the basketball game and baseball this afternoon. We got a lot going on today.
I do. I'll be at the basketball game for sure.
All right.
Looking forward to it. Robert Giovanetti, everybody. Senior Athletic Director, whatever his title is. It's a good one. We'll be right back with more Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby. Craig Wells.
Sports Talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
River Smiths. It's right over here, close to where we are on 5th and Avenue Q. There's another restaurant business that, they just do such great things. They make everything fresh every day. You think I'll just put that tartar sauce in the fridge. We'll use it again tomorrow. Not at River Smiths. They make it fresh every day. Fresh coleslaw, fresh everything. And of course, I love their fried catfish and popcorn shrimp, but they have it blackened. They can do it any way you want it. And big caterers, too. And every time we pull up and we see River Smith's truck there, everybody's happy.
Yep.
Because they love this River Smith's.
Got some healthy food, too.
Yeah, they do. Well, and catfish healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, fried?
You'd have to consult your doctor on that.
I love it.
Oh, yes.
I love it. But they do. They got heart healthy menu as well. Got meeting rooms in the back and big old restaurant. They'd love to see you. Stop in at 5th and Avenue Q to River Smith's. They got parking in the back, parking in the front, and you'll love your experience at River Smith's. All righty. We got Matt Dowdy on the phone here. Matt, you love River Smith's, don't you?
Yes. It's always been good to me.
You know, it's a quick run up from Texas Tech.
Yeah.
It's easy to get there real fast. They're always good. All right, so you got, and now what's this donor thing you got going on? Tell us about what's going on out there today.
So every spring, Coach McGuire and his staff, they do an event called Fantasy Camp, where they basically give a group of donors, supporters, anyone who's interested and registers for the it's a weekend of just inside access into the football program. They'll go through kind of what they're thinking offensively, scheme-wise. They'll go through the new team players, but also, I mean, they'll sometimes run some drills, let them in the indoor facility. It's a good weekend, always on the calendar for our football staff, and so that's going on this weekend. And I believe they'll be at the basketball game this afternoon.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, tell us about this kid from Cedar Hill that's like the number one recruit in the class of 2027. He committed
that
to
would
Tech.
probably get me an NCAA violation if I did that.
Well, me and Craig will just talk about it.
Yeah, y'all can talk about 2026 or 2020. I guess 27 recruits.
You can't talk.
I'd not like to have a meeting with our compliance office next week.
Well, we still have a compliance office?
Yeah.
I thought we could do whatever we wanted to.
Yeah.
Anyway, the deal is that this kid's committed to Tech, and now we lost our defensive line coach. He's a defensive line guy. And so there was word that he's putting himself back out there. I hate it when that happens. But you've met our new coaches that we've already hired, right? Have you met them yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Then they're awesome, right?
Yeah, they're both coming from the NFL. It's the interesting thing about where we are as a football program is when those two positions came open, you had a lot. I mean, I talked to Coach McGuire one day, and I just kind of got the sense that you had a lot of interest in those positions. You look at the NFL draft this in a couple of months, and then in the combine this next week. I mean, David Bailey's projected as high as number 2 in the NFL draft, outside linebacker.
I'm telling you, though, Matt, he is his vertical. When I saw him against Oregon, that vertical leap that he has.
Oh yeah,
it's unbelievable how athletic.
He's quick.
Here's a story I tell some people about David Bailey and his athleticism. We were shooting a commercial for United Supermarkets and Coke last summer. It was last May in the football facility. We have a production crew that's come in. These individuals don't normally work with sports. They are commercials. And David Bailey, we're shooting in the weight room. He comes into the weight room, gets a couple of our bands, straps a 45-pound plate around his waist, and starts doing chin-ups in the weight room.
Are you kidding me?
Like it was nothing. And so not only is he just a fantastic athlete, he can get after the quarterback, as everyone saw this last year. So Coach has said a few times recently is like, hey, if you got I think it's pretty clear who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. But if you're picking a defensive player, it's hard to pass up David Bailey. And so you got him. Lee Hunter might end up being a first-round draft pick after a great week at the Senior Bowl. And then another outside linebacker in Romello Height could very well be a day 2 pick in either second round or third round. And, you could have 4 or 5 guys drafted from last year's defense alone.
Romello Height could end up being the biggest steal in the whole draft.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And these guys will interview well next week in Indianapolis for the combine. They'll obviously test off the charts. I mean, Romello is very, very athletic as well. Speed, quickness around the edge. Lee Hunter, same thing. Very athletic for a guy his size. And then I think people are forgetting a little bit sometimes about Jacob Rodriguez, and he could very well be a day
We're not forgetting
round
him.
3 guy as well.
Yeah. Matt, how many of those guys are right now are in Lubbock or around Tech working out for the combine?
Not many of them. Most of the time nowadays, used to, like in the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years, you would see a few of them work out with our strength staff in their and just stay in Lubbock. Most of the time, these guys are signing with whoever there's going to be their agency, and they're going to certain parts of the country where they have training sites where they are working specifically for the combine and their pro day. And so like Jacob Rodriguez, I know, is in South Florida. David Bailey, I believe, is in Southern California. And so they're kind of spread out across the country.
Well, that's good. They can spread the news about Texas Tech.
That's exactly right.
Well,
And they will.
That Double T brand on draft night and combine, I mean, it's, you just can't buy that kind of
You can't.
recognition, and, 5 or 10 years ago, we had one, and that was it, but now it's just, it's spreading. I mean, that brand is going places.
Well, and you look at the Senior Bowl a few weeks ago, and you had they just switched back and forth talking about one Red Raider after the other because of the success our guys were having in the Senior Bowl. And so, yeah, that brand and the reputation our football program has now, and I'd say compare it to a year ago, it's vastly different because we've proven we can. You had proof of concept in building a roster, going to win a Big 12 championship, and playing in the CFP. And so I think the path and goal now is how do you get further in the CFP? How do you get to that last game?
Matt, I have over the last 2 weeks or so, and I want to ask you this because you're directly involved with it. I don't believe we've ever had a coach in as many interviews, podcasts, X interviews on television, just you name it. Coach McGuire has been just extremely busy as a guest on different platforms.
Yeah, that's the good part about my job is that he's so willing to, and he's got a lot of connections, and we as a department have a lot of connections to get him on some high-profile platforms like that. But like when he was we were in Dallas on Tuesday night for a Reckham Club event, and he spoke with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He did an interview on the Ticket in DFW area before that event. He did an interview with On3 yesterday, and so he's very willing. And then you'll start seeing him probably. We've unfortunately, because he's been out of the office because of either Red Raider Club events, different things on his calendar. And in the month of January, he's allowed to recruit. So we'll probably haven't done as many as we normally would, but you'll probably start seeing that ramp up a little. You see more out there, more in the next few weeks when we get closer to spring ball.
And he's, and what a joy is to have a guy like Coach McGuire out in front of everybody because he's just perfect. He presents himself so well, very knowledgeable, and he's got such an energy about him, Matt. And he includes everybody. I mean, he is just kind to everybody he sees.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that makes it very that's why he's such a frequent guest on some of these shows is because they naturally like him. And then B, you got to have the success that goes with it. And we definitely have had that in the last year and then really over his entire tenure here. So, it's what you see on any interview on TV or podcast or whatever else. That's what everyone sees behind the scenes every day.
Well. And I don't know whether you remember this, Matt. We've talked about it before. But I think when he came here, we were doing our show from out at the stadium, and you got Coach McGuire to come over, and he was on our show that day, and he'd just gotten here. I mean, it was his first year, and so he's leaving. Y'all are headed back over to the office that direction, and y'all walk across. We're right there at the Fraser, so he walks across that street by the Sports Performance Center. And it's game day. And there's going to be a game later, and late that night, and there's that guy sitting there by the ramp that doesn't let people go down the field. It's his job. He sits there all day. You can't go down there on the ramp. Well, Coach McGuire's walking across with Matt, and all of a sudden he just goes across the street to shake this guy's hand that's sitting in the chair wearing his yellow vest, and he's just to meet him. Yeah. And you didn't have to do that. Yeah. The guy wasn't expecting, but that's who he is.
What I'm impressed with is, this was his first head coaching job. He is taking a leadership role in the profession of coaching. There are people now getting him as a guest to talk about his thoughts on the calendar. He's become a very opinionated person when it comes to the football NCAA calendar and how it affects players and teams and those kind of things. But in just a short period of time, he's a leader. He is a unifier. Exactly. He's a leader, and I'm glad he is our coach.
Well, and I think you'll see him continue to do that. He was just named to the AFCA Board of Trustees, which is the basically board of directors of the Coaches Association. So he's one of 2 Big 12 reps on that board of trustees, and so you'll keep hearing his name out there. And he, I think our national championship game this next year is January 25th. My opinion, that's too late in the calendar, and I know that's Coach McGuire's as well. And so I think the one thing about Coach you can say is, he definitely has some opinions on it, but he's willing to back it up and serve. Like he's willing to find solutions to it too. And so he's not just going on podcasts and saying we should do this, we should do that. He's actually putting his time and his effort behind those solutions and serving on a committee such as the AFCA.
Well, he's just, I'm so glad we got him. And here's the really great thing about him. He's a great coach. He's done amazing things already with Texas Tech football and Red Raider Nation, and he wants to be here. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. This is his forever job, as far as I can tell. This is his home, and this is where he wants to be.
He puts us in the college playoffs. He'll be here for a long time.
I know he's here. And I like the way you said that, Matt. I think you said when you're talking about the calendar, and you said our national championship game. Yeah. I don't know whether you realize that. That's ours. We're going to be in that.
I think that's the place where we are right now, is where that's a realistic discussion with the players we're able to sign, not just in the portal, but in high school. We get a lot of conversation around the portal, around our program. Baron Morton last year, homegrown. Brendan Jordan in secondary was a kid we signed out of high school. Ben Roberts, another kid we signed out of high school. There's numerous others that have been kids that we signed just straight out of high school, and we've developed them. And so there's a mixture of both. And that's the you walk in the building, I think that's what their expectation is, to play deep in the CFP next year and to do this all over again. And now, don't get me wrong, I think my belief is I think a lot of schools had us circled last year just because of the noise that was around us, but I think that's probably even more so this next year.
Oh, no doubt. Speaking of the portal, have you seen Sorsby?
I see him quite often, yeah.
How's he doing? Is he doing pretty good?
He's doing pretty well. He seems to have acclimated himself to Lubbock really well. He, you see him at basketball games. You see him. I think he's gone around town quite a bit trying to.
We should have got him on the show today. You could have made that happen.
I probably could have. I should have thought of that. He's loving Lubbock, and I think his leadership and his experience is going to come in handy for us, and it'll be a great. It's good having a senior quarterback. We experienced that last year, and I think having an experienced quarterback is going to really help with this team.
Well, we'll wait because I know Gary would want to be here when we have Brendan Wright Sorsby on the show.
Well, you know what's going to happen. He's going to ask to. He said, "Hey, I've heard about this Thetford and Ashby show. I need to be on that show."
Don't make him beg, Matt. Don't make him.
I'm afraid I probably have a text message from him right now upset, so I'll have to go check.
Well, yeah. How come I'm not on that show? Hey, buddy, we appreciate you. We're going to let you go. I know you're busy. Thank you always for your time. You're awesome.
Yeah, thank y'all.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Matt Dowdy. He's in charge. We have all these important Giovanetti.
Yeah,
Dowdy.
I know it. You did a good job on the guests
These are the guys
today
that make it happen.
Yep.
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.